Hello everyone, and welcome back to Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts and what is probably the final of the Prologue episodes, because I was thinking to build the Colorado. The problem is we haven't even researched the 16-inch guns yet. In fact, we have only the Mark I 15-inch guns, so obviously we're a little behind in this particular timeline on big gun layout, and we're going to have to deal with that is probably something that we just want to focus on in that case. So let's have a quick look around before we kick off the whole campaign, and see what is the upcoming technology. So we've got some just internal protection, turret mechanisms. What is that we're getting here? Full auto gun reload, but extremely cutting edge technology. Small guns is 8 months away. That's the Mark IV 4-inch gun. Doesn't really concern us too much. And the rest is more submarine underwater shenanigans. So I think setting a priority on the big guns to see if we can get towards the 16-inch guns a little earlier is, given that there's nothing here really that I'm super keen on right now, I think it's not a terrible idea. So let's see if we can accelerate the 16-inch gun design a little bit, because I would like to have an edge in caliber if possible. Although the 14-inch guns probably should do well for the time being. So the other thing that we're going to be doing is we obviously need a larger shipyard, because one thing that I really want is, and I think we actually, let's have a very quick look at the ship designer. I think we actually have potentially the holes for that. We do have the experimental Dreadnought, which can get us up to 50,000 tons, which is not quite yet enough for the maximum battleship project, but I think it may sort of get us there. Unfortunately, again, we're lacking the big guns, because right now we've only researched the 15-inch gun. But what we could do is we could see if we can do sort of a smaller variant of the maximum battleship, somewhere around these holes here, and just stick, because we do have quad turrets, so we could do something like quad 14-inch gun, like 16 14-inch guns, or something crazy like that, just to get a little bit of that flavor in there. But the problem obviously being that we don't have the dockyard size for that. So that's sort of the first thing we need to do. Now, we are America, so we should have a decent economy, although I'm not sure what our economic setting is at this point. But let's see what that looks like while we're setting everything up here for the campaign. So the very first thing we want to do is build larger shipyards. Yeah, get me... Hang on, we've got 40,000 tons now. We can build up to 50,000 tons. So 15 months. Hang on, how much exactly do we need? Sorry, just double checking that I'm not messing this up. So we do need 49,500 is the largest possible that we can get. So if we've got 40,000 now, I mean, we can just over provision it slightly and put another 10,000 tons shipyard up there, because we don't have a hole to build anything larger at this point anyway. And I don't think we have anything. Coming up in. I'm not even sure where that would be. Would that be in, yes, in hull strengthening. So modern battleship design for 1926 is actually 39 months away. So that's still that's still a while, but that would make pretty much everything else obsolete here. Whole construction is just, yeah, this is the details. So that's still a whiles back, so until then we're not going to be the experimental Dreadnoughts 2 and 3 should, yeah, the experimental Dreadnought 2 and 3 should be probably the biggest that we can build. So until we get this done, which allows us to build the larger hulls. We are not in need of significantly more dockyard capacity, so okay, I do want this to be a somewhat reasonably round number, so we'll just do it like that. Okay, there we go. So that's underway. That gets us up to 51,000 tons, and we'll see what our budget's looking like. Right now, we've still got a decent monthly balance, but we haven't built any fleet. So I'm just gonna scrub everything up to top, and we'll see how that goes. That is not leaving us an awful lot. We do have some naval funds, however, and increasing the transport capacity generally, at least in 1.3, tended to give you a decent boost over time to your to your GDP and your economic growth. So we do want to trade, and we'll see what we can build, what we can actually build. So this is going to be a little tedious. So I'll just build the battleships. We are going to need 3 New Mexicos. So 1, 2, 3. They're going to be complete. They're going to be complete next month, and that is going to be the New Mexico, the Mississippi. Did I spell that right? Yes. No. Mississippi. Yeah, I did spell that right. And the Idaho. There we go. Then we will build 2 of the Pennsylvanias. So we're going to need 2 of you. And that would be the Pennsylvania and the Arizona. Then we are going to build 2 Nevadas. And that is going to be Nevada herself and Oklahoma. There we go. And we're going to need to do 2 New Yorks, I think. Yeah, New York and Texas. So New York and Texas. And we are going to be doing 2 of the Lexis, so Lexington and Saratoga. Oh, okay, we are actually not having the funds anymore to do that. Yeah, we are running very much out of naval funds at this point. So I think we are going to skip on the Lexingtons for now. We just have the design, but we do need a couple of smaller the smaller ships here. So let's start with some of the destroyers. Now, how many ships do we have so far in the fleet? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 battleships. Yeah. So let's build these guys. Probably 10 each for now. I think we'll build 1 of the weird Omahas. There. And that leaves us with a little bit to build a handful of destroyers. Unfortunately, we don't have an awful lot left. So let's build maybe 5 of the Wicks. How much do we have left? We have left 84,000. So with that, we can build 1 Clemson. We're a little short on the destroyers because we have built all these battleships, and because the naval budget at the beginning of the game was, well, significantly less than what we would have had in reality. So we're a bit battleship heavy, but I think that's all right. This is the American fleet, and we are actually not looking good in terms of funding. So we're definitely going to be having to reduce something there to balance that. I would love to not reduce crew training too much, but we are going to have a positive balance, otherwise we'll be basically bankrupt the second we're starting the game, which is not something we want to do. We can also go with This should be the economic growth. I don't want to skimp on the transport capacity because that sort of snowballs quite nicely. But let's maybe draw this down to 25% there. And then we will focus kind of the first year on just building more destroyers for the time being, while we have the very expensive battle fleet, and we're going to have to try and convince Congress that we need more big ships. But yeah, it's going to be a relatively that sounds positively Japanese. I am not sure about that. I'll have a hang on. I'll just have to get some proper names at least for these things down. Okay, so we're just gonna go by the list here. We're gonna go with the USS Philip, and then we'll have the USS Woolsey and the USS Evans. There we go. And the USS Little. And there we go. We've got a bunch of Wicks class. Not as many as I would like, so we'll probably be focusing on just building more, building a couple more destroyers in the early game. That's due to us having built way more battleships than generally acceptable. But such is the state of the US Navy in 1920. Way more battleships than generally accepted. I mean, in reality, we've had like hundreds of these things, but we don't also need that many. So a very battleship heavy, the Navy for now. And who are we friends with, or who are we not friends with? I think we're reasonably neutral towards pretty much everybody. So we sort of like the British a little. We're not getting on particularly well with the Soviets or with the Empire of Japan, to nobody's great surprise. So there's tension in the Pacific brewing. But yeah, I'll probably focus reasonably heavily on the Pacific. One of the unfortunate features that you'll see here in the game, and I'll have to just deal with that in editing in some way, is that the map doesn't wrap around, which is just a little annoying, because you can kind of sort of get most of the important bits here. So we can get up to Pearl, and then we can see the beginning of the Japanese islands over there. But other than that, we'll have to unfortunately skip to the other side of the map, which then has the UI in the way, to see our possessions in the Pacific, and this will get a little annoying. But I think we can work with it. So just imagine that it wraps around. But anyway, we'll have to designate these to their respective fleets actually. So I am going to send the more modern ones. So New Mexico, Mississippi, Idaho, Pennsylvania, Arizona. I'm gonna get you over into Western USA. So I'm just going to put you over in San Francisco. And then we'll put the other 4 on the eastern seaboard just for now. You can be in New York for starters, and the Omaha can be over in Philadelphia for all I care. And we'll send these destroyers over into San Diego, and the Clemson can be in Philadelphia. There we go. Okay, and yes, please add my crew. I think we've set everything up. I haven't built any submarines. And yes, this will come later, but I literally just, the game doesn't allow me. I don't have enough funding. We do have a couple of submarines available. But they're actually relatively cheap, 18,000. So I might be able to squeeze, yeah, I still got 33 million. Okay, so I'll have a quick look, and submarines are not super important because I can't actually even play with them. I tend to just more use them for background purposes. I mean, they have an impact on the game, obviously, but I can't actually control anything. So it's not that I don't care about them that much. I'll build a couple of submarines, but other than that, we've got our list of ship designs. We've got our research with a focus on getting bigger guns. Our finances are in tatters, as they should be. So definitely our crew training is going to need some additional things, and we are just barely in the positive here, and we potentially have conflict coming up with Japan, so having more small forces to accompany the battleships is going to be necessary. But anyway, for now, that will be the starting set that we'll start off with, facing the world as 1920 USA. And it's going to get interesting, so I'll see you all when the campaign officially kicks off. And yeah, have a good one until then. Bye bye.